thank God that we are on the nice side of town. I do
Amen.
not have to worry about whether or not I'm safe or if my kids are okay waiting at the bus stop. I don't have to worry about what school they are going to and if they're getting a good education. I don't
Amen.
have to worry about that. Everything that I would have liked to have, I have it, and that is because of Fresh Start.
When you were trying to move before you found Fresh Start, can you tell me a little bit about what that process was like for you?
Well, I knew that my credit was affected because I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and my father had to come and get me and my children and move us down to Florida. So I had to just leave the townhome that I was in. And so I knew that that was on my credit. So I knew that because I had an eviction, it was going to be really hard for me to get somewhere.
Okay. And before joining Fresh Start, did you try on your own at any point in time?
No, because I just knew that I had an eviction and it was going to be hard for me to find somewhere to rent. And
Okay.
and I honestly I just didn't want to like be calling and getting rejected all those many times over and over again. So I was just smart to just completely skip that step
Right.
and just try to find another alternative.
Okay. How long did it take you to find Fresh Start?
It didn't take long at all. I just knew what to search on Google and it pulled you guys up. And I called and found out about the service and I did try it on my own at first, but because that particular complex wanted, things that I couldn't give them, it made me nervous. And I was already nervous, just because I knew the way I was going was kind of like a backdoor way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was already nervous. So I just felt like it would be best if I paid the extra money to have somebody do it for me. And then that way I could just be hands off and just walk into my apartment.
Amen. Amen. And when you did decide to let Fresh Start do it for you, how long did the process take from start to finish?
It wasn't long at all. When I decided to let you guys do it for me, you all asked me what complex I wanted to stay in, and I told you, and you guys put in the application, did the work, and it was like maybe a couple days, and I was signing a lease.
Wow. I love to hear that. Did you have any doubts before joining Fresh Start?
Of course, anything that you do that's not traditional, you're kind of like, is this gonna work? And I didn't want to waste my money because I didn't have a lot of money. I'm a single mother with 5 children, so I didn't want to waste my money. And then there goes another thing. I didn't want to be putting my money out there and filling all these applications and whatnot just to get them turned down. I didn't want to do that. I was trying to expedite myself and my family making the right moves and the right steps to get us where we needed to be, because we had stayed in a hotel for, gosh, I want to say almost 5 months.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And some of the doubts that you had, can you tell me about some of those doubts? Like what was running through your mind before you gave up the money?
Well, I mean, if I'm honest, the ethical part of it, being that I'm a Christian, I know that I didn't get this the traditional way, but, the Lord works in mysterious ways. This has been a blessing for me. Like, me and my kids have a roof over our heads. We have a mailing address. It's not some P.O. box at a post office. I'm not in a hotel where I got 5 of my kids and we're all staying in one room. We have a home. I have a key. I can walk up to the door and unlock it. It felt so good. And, I struggled with the whole ethical and spiritual part of it, because I know that this has been such a huge blessing for me and my children.
Do you feel like it is right that since you have an eviction, they would like you to be homeless for 8 years? Do you feel like that's ethically right?
No, not at all, especially because of the condition that I had to leave the apartment. I didn't leave because I just didn't have the rent or, I was just trying to be a bad tenant.
Right.
I had a medical condition that was life changing. And, crazy as it may be, when I got down to Florida, it was maybe 8 months later, I was having brain surgery. So it was just, it needed to happen. Because, like, had I been up here with my 5 kids with no help, it would have been a catastrophe. It would have been a disaster.
What do you feel like attracted you? I know that there are several companies out there that claim to work. What attracted you to Fresh Start? What was the difference for you?
Well, I mean, when I went to the website, it provided me with enough information and I was able to call and actually speak to an individual right away. And it gave me a good sense of, because everything was up front and I didn't have to question or worry or, because, sometimes you go to a website and it's a little sketchy, it's a little shady. But when I went to the website, it gave me the information that I needed. And when I called, I was on the phone with somebody and you guys were just, clear and precise and you didn't, withhold any information from me. You were very honest and upright and upfront. And I felt comfortable enough to give you my money and put the future of my family in your hands, knowing that you would do your best to find me a place.
Wow. And what was the result of working with Fresh Start?
I had a place. I moved into a 3-bed, 2.5-bath townhome in the area that my kids were already going to school at. And then, what's so good about it is we are in an area where they are going to one of the top high schools in the county. So that was important to me. I mean, I had options. I could have went to the other side of town, and it's crazy because the town that we live in, it's so separate. It's almost like you have that other side of town, and then you have the nice side of town. And I thank God that we are on the nice side of town. I do not have to worry about whether or not I'm safe or if my kids are okay waiting at the bus stop. I don't have to worry about what school they are going to and if they're getting a good education. I don't have to worry about that. Everything that I would have liked to have, I have it, and that is because of Fresh Start.
Oh my goodness. What has Fresh Start done for you and your children's lives?
Well, it's like a breath of fresh air. I cannot say that there has been a day where, I forgot to just sit back and just be thankful and grateful to God because, I'm living in a very, very nice place. It's a gated community. We're safe. And I thank God. I don't want to try to make this. So when I sit back and I look at where I'm at and, the amenities that I have and, I just thank God. I mean, you all have really just changed my life.
Wow.
Because I don't know where we would be. We probably would still be in a hotel.
Wow.
I'm just gonna be honest. Had I not found you and had I not trusted you and given you that money for you to take care of it for us, we would probably still be in a hotel.
That makes me so happy. Last question. For someone who is struggling with making a decision of doing it on their own or choosing another company, what would you tell them about considering Fresh Start?
Do it. I know it's not a traditional way of getting a place to stay or a home or a roof over your head, but do it. It was the absolute best decision I made for my family. I didn't have much. Staying in a hotel is not cheap. So when I got my coins together, I made that commitment. I gave that money away, and here I am.
Wow.
End of story.
Wow. Miss Elizabeth, I'm so thankful for you. I am so thankful. We will always be here. If you need anything, if you know anyone, we can change the world together. So I'm so grateful for your story, and I'm so happy that year after year I'm able to call you and you always answer the phone. Thank you so much for all that you do. I really appreciate you.